Hey, how you doing? Today, I thought I'd talk a little bit about resumes and jobs and the way jobs were back in the late 80s and even past that. At one point, I worked at a company called Solar Turbines. They were owned by Caterpillar Tractor, and I worked at a power plant. And I remember those days when the company paid the health insurance and I didn't pay anything for health insurance. A lot different than it is today. Lately, it seems like there's almost no health insurance. The last job I had, there was a co-pay, they call it, for health insurance. So I ended up paying a couple $100, each paycheck. And it still seemed like it didn't cover everything, because then it got to the point it was called high deductible insurance for health insurance. And basically, yeah, it helped lower some of the costs probably with companies that were in the plan and stuff like that. But really, you ended up just paying a lot of the cost out of your pocket. So then there was this thing called the HSA, Health Savings Account, where you could put money into this health savings account from each paycheck. And yeah, okay, so it's tax deferred. But as you're using the money out of there, you got to pay tax on it anyway. So you're basically paying for your health insurance bills by yourself. And the deductible was high. It was like $3,000 per person per year. So then, the whole family was like, if it was just my wife and I, it was $6,000 deductible each year. So it definitely changed a lot over the years. And another thing was pensions. Companies used to pay pensions. Not so much anymore today. Most of the companies don't pay pensions anymore. Even the bigger companies, the bigger companies don't even pay pensions anymore. So their reasoning started a long time ago with stuff like 401ks. Oh, okay, well, you can put money in this 401k and it's tax deferred. Okay, but that's my money. I'm funding my retirement myself. Okay, that's the way it went to. Now, some of the companies would have a match. So they might match a certain percentage of the money that you put into your 401k. That way, at least they were contributing something toward your 401k, since they don't have a pension anymore anyway. Back in time, companies really paid pensions. Big companies, you got to a certain number of years with that company, you could retire, and they would actually pay you a pension each month for retirement. And a lot of them also would pay your health insurance in retirement. So back then, it made sense to stay with the company, 30 or 40 years. Not so much today. Today it's go to this company and get some experience, move to a higher paying job, stay with that company for a little while, gain some more experience, move to the next one. That used to be frowned on in the past. They would call it like job hopping and stuff like that. They used to warn you, oh, it doesn't look good on your resume if you are changing jobs. I don't hear that so much today. Most people are changing jobs. It's one of the only ways that you get better raises. So back in time, like in the early 80s, mid 80s, I would go to a company. I would work there for 7 or 8 months, typically, in the beginning. And like I said, I worked in electronics. So you could pretty much learn what that company did and what machines they had and what they were building or whatever in 7 or 8 months. You got enough knowledge that you pretty much understood what that company does, what they build. Then I would move on to another company that was in the area that was paying more. So if it paid $2 or $3 more, and I already knew what this company had to offer that I could learn, I would move to the next one. I would gain $2 or $3 in pay, and at the same time get a chance to learn new stuff, different electronic stuff. And then I would stay there 7 or 8 months. So by doing that, you can imagine, say, over 5 years of the early career, within each year, you're trying to learn this company's stuff, move to the next job, learn this company's stuff, move to the next one. And in each of these levels, gaining, say, even a couple of bucks an hour in pay. That's pretty much how I did that, even when companies were paying pensions, because my goal was to learn this, move up in pay each step along the way. Sort of like moving up a ladder and gaining experience and gaining in pay each time you make a move. Now, it gets to the point where a company today, if they're not paying much for the health insurance, they're not paying retirement, okay, they might be contributing to your 401k, and you have to stay a certain amount of time before you're vested, let's say. There's this thing called vesting. The company might say, okay, we'll put money in your 401k, but it takes 3 years or so to be fully vested, meaning if you leave before that 3 years, they don't even count. They don't give you the money that you had vested. Once you're fully vested, okay, fine, you can move on to the next company. Because like I said, there's no pension or anything at most of these companies. And today, it seems like most companies too that are pretty good size are giving 3 weeks vacation, say, for even people first starting out. Okay, that's pretty much similar across the board. And you wouldn't get, like, say, 4 weeks of vacation. I think with that last company I was at, it's till like 10 10 or maybe even 15 years. I forget. I've been there for a while. So, if you don't have, let's say you're within your 4th year at the company, okay, and you only got 3 weeks of vacation. All right, fine. But you're vested in the 401k, so you'll get the money that they put into that. If you find a better, higher paying job, I would move, because otherwise you're not going to get a pension or anything anyway, so I would jump jobs even at that point. So the best thing I've found is move, get more pay, get experience, get more pay, get experience, and get to the point where you're with what you think maybe is the best Fortune 500 company in your area, because let's say you don't want to relocate. Now you can relocate too and go to even better companies probably. But you got to get as fast as you can into that big of a company that you can figure, okay, now it's worth me staying here 10 years or 15 years to get that 4th week of vacation, because no other companies are doing any more than that. And of course, that company probably also is paying the highest match on your 401k, and probably really similar health insurance benefits and anything else than the competing companies. So then you're pretty much at the point you might be staying there for quite a while. Because when you get right down to it, a new company isn't going to start out and automatically be like paying a full medical and everything and a pension. I don't foresee that happening anytime soon. So like I say, my goal was get in with a big company fast, get established in there, keep moving up the ladder, and if there's nothing else in that area, stay with that company until you retire. But of course, make sure you put money in your 401k or your retirement plan, because you're probably going to be funding your retirement on your own. A little bit of help from the company with a match probably, but other than that, it's pretty much on your own. Well, take care of yourself. Until the next time, I'll see you later.